A suit doesn't make a man.
Nos filmes de John Wick, entramos num mundo alternativo de mercenários muito violentos que se vestem impecavelmente e que se movem em ambientes que vão dos mais sofisticados aos mais clandestinos. A fórmula mantém-se em The Continental from the World of John Wick, a série da Prime Video que conta a história de Winston Scott, o gerente do icónico hotel dos filmes. Passa-se 35 anos antes das histórias que já conhecemos, um desafio para a produção que teve de recriar cenários e ambientes. Muitas vezes a música da época ajuda, mas em outras alturas o espectador conta com a ajuda de Rafferty, o compositor de serviço que encarou o hotel de Continental como o protagonista da série, e isso deu-lhe liberdade para trabalhar.
But specifically with the Continental, because it's in this world which is essentially our own world, but a little bit sort of off and a little bit sort of hyper-real. It gave me a bit more license to play with the Continental as a character. So the main sound we hear of the Continental is this sort of big, you know, you sort of hear it right at the start of the show. And although you're not necessarily always seeing it with the Continental, I wanted it to permeate the show and for it to be something which we hear throughout.
As cenas de ação são outro fator distintivo dos filmes de John Wick. Rápidas, com ritmo, bem coreografadas. Esse mérito é do coordenador de duplos, Larnell Stovall, mas foi Rafferty quem lhes deu música.
It was very much about marking the action, and sometimes I think you can do that quite subtly. You know, there's such big action sequences anyway within the world of John Wick that sometimes you don't have to do very much. But with this, it really was about it being sort of larger than life. So there's lots of, you know, sort of hits and bangs and crashes, and that can, you know, as a sort of structure musically, you're often pacing the music against the action, which is quite nice. It kind of can give you a bit of a tempo. And Larnell, who did all the stunts, you know, I think I see a great sort of lyricism in what he does. You know, it's got a real kind of poetry of movement, and that gave me a lot of tempo to work off of.
It's a cravat.
We're gonna take on the Continental. Every freak in that hotel will be after us.
The Continental from the World of John Wick é um esforço gigante de recriação dos anos 70 em pleno século XXI. A roupa foi uma grande ajuda. Sarah Arthur já trabalhou em séries como Sherlock e A Noite de Todas as Almas. Em The Continental fez um grande trabalho de pesquisa e comprou muitas roupas originais. Vestiu todos os duplos para as cenas de ação que foram preparadas ao pormenor.
I spent a lot of time looking at the rehearsals for the stunts because as per the Wick films, you know, I knew as soon as I started this project that we would need multiple suits and multiple, you know, coats and jackets and trousers to accommodate all this action. So right at the beginning, before any cast came through, I commissioned 150 suits from very small to very large, all duplicates, so that, you know, whatever action was thrown at me, we had costumes to accommodate them.
A série da Prime Video segue Winston Scott 35 anos antes de o conhecermos nos filmes de John Wick, em que a sua personagem é interpretada por Ian McShane. Faz-se pela roupa a ligação entre os dois atores que interpretam a mesma pessoa.
Colin was, as was Mel Gibson with Cormac, up for everything that I'd, you know, designed at that stage. So then we make a toile pattern, you know, out of calico, just a very light fabric, to get the correct fittings. Then we make it, you know, the suit with, maybe just put one sleeve in to start with, get the fit. And he loved it. And he loved all this, you know, we made the shirts, he loved the blue shirts, which Ian McShane wears in the John Wick films. I said, look, I noticed that Ian McShane wears these Chelsea boots. Mm-hmm. He loved it, you know, the cravats, the similarities, just to link the two together.
À frente do elenco de The Continental from the World of John Wick estão Colin Woodell e Mel Gibson. foram chamados pelos produtores Basil Iwanik e Erika Lee, que trabalharam nos 4 filmes de John Wick. Eles justificam facilmente as escolhas que fizeram.
Colin is an incredible actor, and he really embodied the blend of what Winston is, right? So early on, he's not a Welsh-born, fancy, guy from London. He is a street kid from New York. And I think Colin has the sparkle in his eyes that Ian has, and can sort of vacillate from soft, and when you meet him, he's with a girl and he's hustling, to a killer, and has the potential to rise to the ranks like we'll see him do later in the movie.
But also, the Winston we see in the movie is sophisticated. He's in this beautiful lounge, eating burrata, drinking a martini, and what Colin was able to get is that you believed him in his eyes that he was going to one day be someone who's ferocious and crazy, but he's still young, and there's a sweetness to him. And there was something like he was a good hardness to him. He hasn't been hardened over the years, as we'll see, and he was able to sell that kind of that kid who, if he would have made a couple other decisions or didn't have a brother that dragged him into the world, he probably would be an established guy in the stock market in the UK. I think with Mel, it was we wanted a character that, Cormac is a mad king whose kingdom is collapsing around him. And we wanted an actor that could capture the charisma that he once had to become that king. There's the humor, the craziness, the leadership that you would feel, but also at the same time sell a man going increasingly nuts.
The Continental from the World of John Wick é a primeira série baseada no mundo dos filmes protagonizados por Keanu Reeves. Tem 3 episódios, todos disponíveis na Prime Video.
Let's take this house and everything that comes with it. And away we go.